Welcome to my midnight movie review of The Company of Wolves, a 1984 British Gothic fantasy horror film directed by Neil Jordan. This movie, based on Angela Carter's short story from her collection The Bloody Chamber, weaves a dark and mesmerizing tale that blurs the lines between reality and fantasy. The Company of Wolves begins with a teenage girl named Rosaleen, played by Sarah Patterson, who falls asleep in her country manor while reading a magazine. She dreams of a surreal, medieval world where wolves and werewolves prowl the woods. In her dream, Rosaleen's sister has died, and she lives with her parents in an isolated village. She spends much of her time with her wise and loving grandmother, played by Angela Lansbury, who tells her cautionary tales about the dangers of straying from the path, eating windfall apples, and trusting men with meeting eyebrows. One day, while on her way to visit her grandmother, Rosaleen meets a charming and enigmatic huntsman. They make a bet on who will reach her grandmother's house first. Upon arriving, Rosaleen discovers the huntsman's true nature and the sinister secret he harbors. The film is renowned for its rich, atmospheric visuals and its exploration of themes such as transformation, sexuality, and the transition from childhood to adulthood. It combines elements of horror with fairy tale motifs, creating a unique and unsettling cinematic experience. Directed by Neil Jordan and co-written by Angela Carter, the film was produced on a modest budget but succeeded in creating a visually striking and immersive world. Filming took place at Shepperton Studios in England, where elaborate sets were constructed to bring the fantastical forest and village to life. The production made creative use of Belgian shepherd dogs to represent wolves due to budgetary constraints. The Company of Wolves received mixed reviews upon release, with some critics praising its stylistic ambition and others finding it overly abstract. However, it has since gained a cult following for its daring and imaginative approach to storytelling. In contemporary England, the story unfolds with a young girl named Rosaleen, portrayed by Sarah Patterson, peacefully resting in her upstairs bedroom after drifting off while engrossed in a magazine. Meanwhile, her parents return home from shopping, and her older sister attempts to rouse her from slumber before dinner. During the course of the film, Rosaleen embarks on a series of vivid and captivating dreams that serve as the central focus of the narrative. Her dream includes her sister, who is lost in the woods at night. She is being hunted by the wild beasts of the forest, which relentlessly pursue her throughout the night. She becomes overcome with fear as the wolves surround her, once she has finally been cornered. Unaware that the greatest threat has been looming behind her the entire time. In Rosaleen's dream, she finds herself in a whimsical, fairy tale forest set in late 18th century England, where she lives with her parents, Tuss Silberg and David Warner, and older sister, Alice, Georgia Slow. This enchanting setting, however, takes a dark turn when Alice is tragically pursued and fatally wounded by wolves as she navigates through the dense woods. As Rosaleen's parents mourn the devastating loss of their eldest daughter, she seeks comfort and guidance from her grandmother, portrayed by Angela Lansbury. Her grandmother, a superstitious and wise elder, knits Rosaleen a vibrant red shawl, a symbolic gesture meant to offer protection. Along with the shawl, she imparts a chilling warning, to beware of men whose eyebrows meet, hinting at the hidden dangers lurking within human nature. To further emphasize the gravity of her caution, the grandmother shares her own haunting tale about wolves in human form. This narrative weaves an unsettling and foreboding atmosphere, revealing the duality of man and beast, and the lurking threats that can appear deceptively human. Through these stories and symbols, Rosaleen is drawn deeper into a world where fairy tale and nightmare intermingle, setting the stage for her own encounters with the supernatural. Granny leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper, as she began to weave her chilling tale for Rosaleen. The fire's dim light cast flickering shadows across her face, adding an eerie glow to her expression. Once, in a secluded village, there was a young groom, Stephen Rhea, who had just married a beautiful bride, Catherine Pogson. The night of their wedding, as they prepared to consummate their marriage, a mysterious and urgent call of nature lured him outside into the dark, foreboding forest. The moon was full, and the night was silent, save for the wolves' distant, haunting howl. Hours passed, and the bride, now alone in their humble chamber, grew anxious. Her fear turned to terror as she heard wolves howling ever closer to their home. When dawn broke, the search party found nothing but a single, large wolf paw print near the edge of the woods. The groom had vanished without a trace. Years later, the bride, having accepted her loss, remarried. Her new husband, Jim Carter, was kind and loving, and together they had 3 children, building a new life filled with hope and joy. But the past has a way of haunting the present. One fateful night, the long-lost groom returned, his eyes filled with fury and sorrow. The sight of his beloved bride with another man and their children ignited a savage rage within him. In a horrifying transformation, the groom began to peel off his human skin, revealing his true form, a monstrous werewolf. His flesh tore away, shedding humanity to expose the beast beneath. The bride's new husband arrived home to find his family under threat from this feral nightmare. Summoning his courage, he fought the werewolf in a brutal and desperate struggle. The clash was fierce, but in the end, the new husband managed to slay the beast, putting an end to the horror that had loomed over their lives. The tale was a stark reminder of the thin line between man and beast, and the lurking dangers hidden beneath familiar faces. Granny's words hung heavy in the air, a somber warning to Rosaleen about the true nature of the world she was growing up in, and the wolves, both human and otherwise, that prowled its shadows. The next morning, Rosaleen returns to her village and encounters an amorous teenage boy, Shane Johnston, who is smitten with her. Eager to spend time with her, he asks Rosaleen to take a walk through the forest after church on Sunday. Despite her grandmother's warnings and her own reservations, Rosaleen agrees after he promises they will not stray from the path. Another day later, while Rosaleen is conversing with Granny, the sweet old lady is finishing the bright red cloak for Rosaleen, who happily tosses it over her shoulders. While sitting at the church cemetery and the village priest is cutting branches off a large tree, Granny tells Rosaleen another story about being aware of who or what is out there. Granny's second tale to Rosaleen. A young man is walking through an enchanted forest when he encounters the devil, who arrives in a Rolls-Royce chauffeured by the actress playing Rosaleen in a blonde wig. The devil offers the boy a transformative potion, which he rubs onto his chest, causing hair to sprout rapidly. The boy is pleased, but shortly thereafter vines grow swiftly from the ground, twining around his legs and trapping him. He wails in protest and fear, his face distorting with his cries. His anguished visage appears in Rosaleen's bedroom mirror at the end of that dream sequence. Back home, she sits at a windowsill, watching a spider spin its web. Her father returns home and begins to lightheartedly tease her about her future date with the amorous boy. Later, at the church, as the priest continues with his sermon, the villagers all seem to watch Rosaleen. She has even more spiders fall onto her lap and dust them away. Rosaleen and the boy take a walk through the forest. The amorous boy begins to make advances on Rosaleen, and she seems somewhat reserved but also curious. When the boy tries to kiss her, she runs away. He tries to chase her but is unsuccessful as she has strayed from the path. He continues to look for her to no avail, but the boy discovers that the village's cattle have come under attack from a wolf. Rosaleen looks out into the forest as she sits in the branches of the large tree to oversee the